So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us, especially those in the Woodlands. I know it's a little bit later than we normally meet, but thank you for joining us. Today's topic on meal prepping basics. My name is Irazema. I'm one of the coaches in San Francisco. So I'll be talking a little bit more about how you can go ahead and start doing some meal preps so that you can get meals and ingredients done for you at the beginning of the week so that you have everything ready to go throughout the rest of the week. And so before we get started, just a quick little reminder to everyone, you will be muted, but if you at any point need to ask a question, feel free to use the chat button, which is located towards the bottom of the screen. And you'll see that little chat function, and you can type in any questions that you have. There will also be time at the end of the webinar to ask any questions. And so just remember, we'll be answering everything at the end. Please keep any questions or comments to the relevant topic. We only have 30 minutes, so we would like to make sure that we address everything that we need to address regarding meal prepping. And we will try our best to get through all the questions that we get. If for some reason we can't, we will do our best to answer them via email later on in the day or probably tomorrow. So as a reminder, we're going to be recording this for internal purposes. We use it for our training. And so the goal for today, in terms of meal prepping, right, we want to officially set up both ourselves and our kitchen to make successful meals. So it's not necessarily about just getting a bunch of recipes. You want to make sure that you have the method down so that you would be able to recreate this in any way that you need to for yourself. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about why it's beneficial to start planning out your meals, how you can overcome any type of barriers that you may have to meal prep. It could be a little bit challenging at times for some people. We're going to look at how to create a meal prep method that's going to work for yourself. Everything's a little bit different for each person. And towards the end, I'll give you an example of what a menu could look like. So the benefits of meal planning, right? So there's tons of benefits. We're just kind of going to look at a few different ones. One of them is it can cut down on your overall preparation time. So instead of washing and chopping up things every single day for every single meal, if you do it in bulk ahead of time, right, you can end up saving time. Like you're not chopping up garlic every time you're doing a meal. You're just chopping it at the beginning of the week and you have it ready to go. Same thing with your vegetables and any kind of protein that you use. It's going to cut down on the overall time that you're spending. You're probably going to save money as well while you're shopping because you're going to be a little bit more aware of what you need to buy. And so you're not going to be buying all these extra things here and there. You're also going to only be buying exactly what you need, right? So you won't be deviating too much because you'll have a good enough idea of what you'll be making. And that's also going to help you out with stuff spoiling, right? Like we all have, that head of cabbage that goes in the back of the fridge and we forget about. So buying what you need to make those meals, you're going to more or less assure yourself that you're going to be using everything that you buy. And you're also going to be making more conscious purchases, right? Because everything that you're buying is going to have a use for you for that week or 3 days, however much you're going to be meal prepping. So you're going to be more aware of what you're buying and how much you're going to need. So there are some challenges that some people face when they're trying to meal prep, especially if they've never done it before. So, for some people, it's the time commitment that's involved in it. For some people, it may just seem overwhelming to think about how much food to make or, to think about what you're going to eat on Wednesday when it's Sunday. So there could be a couple of different challenges. So a few things that you can do to overcome this. Look for inspiration, right? So think about favorite recipes that you have, lots of stuff online that you can go look up, right? We have a wide plethora of types and genres and ingredients that you can search online. You can also just look through any kind of shopping ads that you get, in the mail. stuff like that. Like if something's on sale at one of the grocery stores, that may be something that you want to incorporate into your meals. Or maybe it's something new that they brought in to the store. Like that would be a good way to kind of have it in there. Writing it down is a great way to kind of overcome if you feel like you're just overwhelmed with what to do and how to do it. If you have a good game plan written down, chances are you're going to be able to do things more efficiently. If you know this is what I'm going to be eating Monday, this is what I'm going to be eating Tuesday, chances are that you'll be setting yourself up a lot better for success. Also, choosing your ingredients. Once again, if you're just kind of a little lost or confused as to how to start meal prepping, good thing to start off with is choosing ingredients that are versatile, so you'll be able to use them in various different ways, right? Like you can take a head of cauliflower and you can steam it, you can eat it raw in a salad, you can rice it up and use it as cauliflower rice, you can mash it and use it as mashed cauliflower. So choosing ingredients that you can manipulate in different ways will probably make it a little less boring throughout the week, and you'll be able to just change it up a little bit more and still use that same ingredient. Another thing to look out for is stuff that's in season. It's going to have a lot more flavor, so you'll need to do less preparation to it, right? Like think about like right now in summer, like summer strawberries are juicier and sweeter than whenever we've got them in like the winter. So there's less stuff that has to go into it. You just have to wash it, chop it, and it's ready to go. And so that can cut down on just the time that it takes to prep something, but also just you'll probably be more inclined to be eating something that tastes better. Another thing you can do to kind of get over any challenges, right, is to start dividing things up as you're seeing how ingredients can work, right? Like you can make stuff ahead of time. And we'll be looking at that a little bit later in more detail, right? But things that you can make ahead of time are like soups, sauces, things that are going to hold. You can wash and chop your vegetables when you bring them in from the market, so they're ready to go. They're just going to be sitting in your refrigerator whenever you need them. You just pull them out and you're able to throw them into a pan. You can also prepare any of the proteins ahead of time too, right? You can season stuff. If you're using like ground meat, you can go ahead and make burger patties out of it, meatballs, whatever you're going to do with it, and you can have it ready to go. So the day of when it's time for dinner or anything, you just go to your fridge, open the door, everything's ready just to be cooked. And then you're going to have the things that you probably don't want to prepare ahead of time, just because it may not taste good or it may start to spoil. So those are the things that you're going to want to do the day of. But chances are, if you do enough things that you can make ahead, the things that you need to take care of the day of will be very, very minimal. So you'll be able to get a meal, on your plate maybe in about 20 minutes. One thing that you definitely want to do when you're thinking about meal prepping is you want to set aside enough time. I would say somewhere around 3 to 4 hours, and you don't necessarily need to do this in one day. If you feel like that's too much for you to do in one day, maybe do 2 hours on one day and 2 hours on another day. You can also break up the week, right? Like you can meal prep on Sunday for Monday through Wednesday, and then on Thursday you can meal prep for Thursday through Sunday. And so you can divide up that time that way if that feels a little bit better. And you also want to make sure, and it's very, very important, that you have whatever equipment you're going to be using ready to go, right? Your pots are cleaned. You don't have any dirty knives, anything that you need to have, maybe have a shredder. You have that available, anything that you're going to need, so that you're not in the middle of preparing something when you realize, oh, I don't have a baking sheet, or, all the dishes are dirty. So you want to make sure you have all that stuff ready to go at the beginning, so that way you can make a very smooth transition as you're meal prepping. So a quick little review. I think most of you have seen this before in your classes of what a plate should look like. And so half of your plate is a good idea to have half of your plate be produce, right? So fruits and vegetables. And so that can be a variety of different things. It could be spinach, it could be mushrooms, broccoli, bell peppers, berries, lemons, coconuts. Basically anything that's colorful that fits into that you buy fresh or frozen. It can be a frozen thing as well. And then you want a quarter of your plate to be protein. And so that could be things like chicken, turkey, tofu, eggs, fish, things like that. The last quarter of your plate, remember you want it to be those starches and fibers. So any kind of like starchy vegetables like sweet potatoes, anything like legumes, so beans, lentils, any types of grains or anything that's made with grains like pastas. Those fit onto that last quadrant of your plate. And then it's always a good idea to get some fats on your plate. Fats help you stay full. So it's protein and fats that are going to help you stay full. So if you find yourself that you're still hungry after a meal, it's a good idea to look at see what you're doing in terms of protein and fats. Chances are you may not have enough of it, and adding a little bit of it will be enough to keep you full a little bit longer. So that said, we want to try to recreate these plates as much as possible. And obviously not just if you're thinking about plates, bowls, glasses, if you're doing a smoothie, it's all the same type of formula. So I would say that's the most basic of basics when it comes to shopping list. You want to get at least 7 vegetables. And you want that broken down into 1 salad green, and that could be like an iceberg lettuce, romaine, Boston lettuce, something that you would want to eat and enjoy as a salad. 1 leafy green, things like spinach, collard greens, kale, mustard greens, things like that. A harder vegetable that you can spiralize is always a good thing, either spiralize or shred. That's just going to add to the versatility of things. So things like zucchini, carrots, or most squash, you can spiralize or shred if you don't have a spiralizer. And then go ahead and pick 4 other vegetables that you really like or that you want to try out, right? So like cauliflower, broccoli, tomatoes, green beans, anything like that. And then you want to pick out at least 4 types of protein. I would recommend making one of them a ground meat, just because once again, it's going to help you with versatility of the menu and of the dishes that you're making. So things like chicken, pork, ground lamb, ground beef, things like that. I would say 1 to 2 of your protein sources from canned meat, especially right now, as we know, it's not recommended to be going out to the grocery store very often. And canned meats have a good shelf life, so if you can have that stuff on hand, it's going to be helpful. So you can do that. Things like canned tuna or salmon, canned chicken is a good one as well. And so 1 to 2 of any kind of other whole food sources of protein. You can add like eggs or pork or chicken, whether it's chicken breast or chicken thighs or wings, anything like that, any cuts of beef. Just a good whole food source of protein. And then you want to get at least 3 sources of starch for that final quadrant, right? So we're looking at things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, any kind of legumes, beans, lentils, split peas, corn, or rice or grains, things like that. And then once again, with at least 3 fats, so that you're going to be able to stay full. So that could look form of nuts, avocados, olives, coconut oil is a good one as well, olive oil as well. And so this is just an example of what that list could look like, right? So we would have the romaine lettuce as salad green, and then the spinach as the leafy green, a zucchini as the spiralized vegetable, and then the other 4 vegetables, the onions, the mushrooms, bell peppers, and broccoli as just those additional vegetables. As a ground meat, for example, here we could do ground turkey. We could do the canned tuna for a canned meat, and then do 2 sources of protein, which is the eggs and chicken. And obviously, you can mix and match this to whatever your liking is or whatever any kind of dietary restrictions that you have. So for your starch, you can do like sweet potatoes, maybe some black beans and butternut squash, and then a fat, avocado, almonds, and olive oil. If you look at the menu here, this is just a sample of the menu, and you'll be getting a copy of this. I don't want to go into too much detail right now. But if you look at it, using those ingredients from that sample shopping list, you can create 21 meals throughout the week. So you can do things like, for Monday, for example, for Monday's breakfast, you can do like a turkey sausage with sauteed some of those vegetables that you have on hand, do some black beans, and maybe just do a drizzle of olive oil on top of it. For like Thursday's lunch, you can make a frittata with some of those vegetables that you have, and some soup, and some more olive oil on top of it. For Saturday's dinner, you can do some baked chicken with some of the vegetables. Take some of the onions and mushrooms, make a little saute with it. Make some sweet potato fries to go with that. So you can do a variety of different things to mix and match, as long as you have enough of the base ingredients ready to go. So this just shows a sample of some of the prep work that you would do ahead of time. So if we were to take that list again, right? So the things that we're going to buy, and create that menu that I just showed you, things that you could do ahead of time. So whether you're doing this on Sunday or whether you're doing this maybe Monday, whatever the day that you feel more comfortable doing, you can bake the chicken ahead of time, so that's ready to go. You can make the soup ahead of time and the sauce, like I mentioned earlier. You can roast some of these vegetables, right, like the squash and the sweet potatoes, and prep some of the proteins, right? You can prep the burgers and the meatballs so that they're just there sitting in the fridge. The day that you need to make them, you just have to put them in a pan and cook them up. Right? You can wash and chop all of your vegetables so that you just have containers of vegetables on hand in the refrigerator. You can just pull them out when you need them, kind of how a restaurant does it, and just mix and match whatever it is that you need on for your plate. You can toast up some of the almonds so that they're already ready to go, and you can prepare any kind of vinaigrettes or dressings for the salads that you would be making. So this is one of the days that I pulled out from that sample menu to go into a little bit more detail on it. So let's say you wanted to do this this day. So for breakfast, what you would do is you have all your veggies chopped up already, right? So you would just pull out a couple of eggs, grab the vegetables that you have washed, chopped, ready to go, throw everything into a pan, and you got a veggie scramble. You have the butternut squash that you already roasted, so all you have got to do is just heat that up, right? You put a couple of slices of avocado on top of it, maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the most, and you have breakfast ready to go. For lunch, you could take some of that canned tuna and make some tuna cakes with it, or salmon cakes if that's what you prefer. You can take some of the lettuce that you have for your salads, saute up some onions and mushrooms, once again slice up some avocado on it, and you can make sweet potato toast. So you just take slices of sweet potato and you grill it, you roast it, and that you can also do ahead of time. And you use that as your toast. So it's sitting at the bottom, and then you put everything else on top of it. Once again, it'll just take you however long it takes you to prepare the tuna cake, maybe another 15 minutes, 20 minutes max, and you got yourself lunch. For dinner, you can just pull out some of the baked chicken that you have that you made ahead of time, roast up some broccoli, top that broccoli with a little bit of almonds, and just heat up some of the sweet potato fries that you made ahead of time. And you can put everything together and have dinner on the table less than 30 minutes. So any questions or any comments? And we'll go ahead and unmute everyone.